welcome back to the Salt and Light YouTube channel. I am so glad that you're here and checking out this video. If you enjoy this video and content like this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're looking for more biblical content to fill your feed with, go check out my Instagram page, which will be linked in the description. And let's get started with the video. All right. As always, I'm very excited for today's video. I'm back home from college for the summer, and so I thought it would be good to do a little recap video of just my first year at college, what the experience was like, advice, tips, things I wish that I knew going in, all that jazz. So this will just be kind of a little reflection for me, as well as just hoping to encourage and equip you guys, those of you who maybe you're about to head into college, or you're still in high school and looking towards that in the future, or you've already gone through college, or you still have a couple years left, whatever season you may be in. Hopefully this can be applicable to you, or at least just something you can pass on to those who you know who are in this season. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I am currently a student at Cedarville University. I am studying strategic communication, and I will be graduating in a total of 3 years. So I have 2 more years left at Cedarville. And yeah, it's been great. So I came in first semester kind of a little bit naive, but also when it's your when you're like first transitioning into that season of life, you kind of don't really know what to expect. And so you have all these different expectations and just kind of like, what is college? Like, what is life? An adult, like, And so I just kind of had all these different thoughts and ideas and expectations about what life would be like, just transitioning into that season, transitioning away from, like, my childhood was over, like, and so what that would be like. And so I kind of thought a little bit that, like, Cedarville was going to be, like, everything that I was wanting with my life. Like, everything that I ever wanted or ever needed, like, that would be there. Everything would be great. And just, like, any little, and not little, but, like, just different things from high school, or just different pain, or just, like, disappointments in my life thus far, they would all be fixed because Cedarville would be, like, that was, like, the magical place that I was going to. Which, and so that was a little bit naive, but also I was really excited, and I knew that the school was, like, there was so much there that I was, like, looking forward to, and I just knew a lot of people who went there and just how great it was and all of that. So anyways, I went into first semester basically just thinking that, like, everything was going to fall into my lap and it was going to come really easy because, like, Cedarville's amazing, and, like, why wouldn't it? So I just thought, like, friendships were going to fall into my lap, and just, like, everything, it was going to be great, and I was going to work it out and figure it out. At the same time, I also was really nervous. I was homeschooled for most of my education growing up, and so I was like, it's going to be a little bit, like, it's going to be very different transitioning to not being at home with my family all the time. So I was very nervous for that transition. And then, yeah. So first semester was difficult. It was a hard transitioning to life away from home, and just all the differences that brought. And I was prepared for, like, managing my schedule, because I had a lot of things going on in high school. So I had grown to be pretty independent in managing my time and figuring out the balance of school, between friends, between work, and all of that. So I was okay in that respect. But it was difficult being away from my family, and it was difficult having to start over with friendships. And so that was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I kind of, like, I feel like I pulled into my shell, and usually I'm a very, like, outgoing, extroverted person and social, but then I kind of just pulled back and felt way more introverted than I ever have in my life, and was like, why am I such an introvert? Like, I just was kind of wanted to be, like, in my dorm room because it felt safe, and I was like, scared. So, which was strange, because that's not usually how I am. Like, I'm usually very, like, I love people, like, yay. So that was difficult. But through that, also, little side note, which I don't know if I mentioned this before. I came in a relationship, and then broke up within the first month, and it was long distance. So that was also difficult, just coming in with that and then not having that anymore. And so it was just kind of like, so yeah, so first semester was difficult, but the Lord truly taught me to be dependent on him, because I had to be. I didn't have my friends, I didn't have my parents or my sister, like I didn't have any of that. I didn't have the comfort of my church, my home church, or just any of the things that I grew up knowing. Like I had to start completely over. And for some people that can be like, yay, fresh start. But I was kind of like, like nobody knows me, like nobody knows who I am or the things that I've worked for in my life. And just like, I don't know, it was difficult. But again, like the Lord was so faithful, and he taught me to be dependent on him, to be sustained by him only, and to find my joy in him. And so throughout the semester, there were a bunch of just little minor disappointments that were just kind of like, like what, like why is this happening? Like what, like I just didn't understand, just like little things. And we thought this was perfect. Like we thought it was gonna be great. Like what's going on? Like, am I supposed to be here? Like, am I supposed to be away at school? Like, why is this more difficult than I thought it was gonna be? And so just with a lot of the different difficulties going on, near the end of first semester, I talked to my RA, and I was just kind of telling her about everything and just like I don't know what to do. And she told me that the first winter break of ever going to college, so whether you're like transfer or freshman, that first time off brings a lot of perspective, because you're in this mode of survival mode for 4 months straight with kind of no real break. Like you get a little bit of, like you get a weekend fall break and then Thanksgiving break, which is like a week, but not really any time to like sit and breathe. Because the thing about college that I've learned that I don't think will ever change is that you are just going and going and going and going and kind of never get time to just like sit and be like, just to think and to breathe. So you have to learn how to find rest in that busyness, which maybe I should talk about in another video. But anyways, so you're just constantly going because there's always homework and there's people who want to do things with you, and then making time for your own personal growth and spending time with the Lord and having a job and all these things that you're doing. And so that break, that winter break, was huge and did bring a lot of perspective. And so I spent a lot of time seeking counsel from different people, talking with my parents, spending time in prayer and just reflecting and just asking the Lord, like, what did he want me to do? And I remember when I wrote I write goals for myself every year. And so when I wrote my yearly goals, it was to figure out what I wanted to do next fall, this upcoming fall. Like, do I want to go back or what do I want to do? Because I was like, okay, I'm going to finish out the year and we'll see how I am then. And I also decided that my word for the year is going to be to abide, because I knew, again, that I needed to depend on the Lord for sustenance and strength to be able to get through this next semester. And so after talking with my parents and everything, I was like, all right, I'm determined. Like, I'm going to seek out these friendships that I've been waiting for. I'm going to be intentional with my time, and also trying to trust the Lord that he was going to use this too. And like, okay, you brought me to Cedarville for a reason. Like, I need to kind of figure out why, I guess. Also, side note, this is not to knock on the school at all. I am just saying, this is not to say that it's like, I love Cedarville. So it just, for me, was difficult to adjust, but I think we have to it is so important to have the perspective that no place is magical or perfect. Like, just because Cedarville has all these accessible resources, or different Christian colleges have all these accessible resources for discipleship and growth, does not mean that they're perfect by any means, and they're not magical. Nothing is magical. The Lord is the one who brings about growth and you can find your like true joy and fulfillment in, not anything else, not any person or institution or job or relationship or whatever, only in the Lord. So continuing with the story. So new perspective over winter break. and I was ready and I was excited and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And part of me was also like, okay, I need to prove to my parents like why this is worth it, because it kind of a thing was, all right, like this is a lot of money. Like paying for private college is a lot of money and we're going to have a lot of debt. So like, is this worth the money? And not that everything's about financial, because we know that the Lord will provide and we trust in his provision, but also trying to be wise stewards with our money that the Lord has given us. So is this a wise stewardship of our money? So I came in next semester and I was like, all right, I'm going to be intentional. And so one of the first nights back, this is kind of a cool little story. So I lived in a unit style dorm where there was 16 girls in 2 separate units that shared a bathroom with like a couple sinks and a couple showers and everything. And so there were 16 of us all living together. And so I went to a room of some of the girls in my unit. So there's 8 girls on my side. And so they were moving around their dorm room and like completely changing their beds because they wanted it to be different. And so I knew all the, like it was them, and I think there might have been 3 other girls with them. And so they were changing around their room, and I knew them and was kind of friends with them through like bro sis events and all of that, but I was not close with any of them. But I was like, okay, I want to be intentional. So instead of staying in my room by myself, I went and hung out with them and helped them change around the beds. And it was a little bit awkward just because I didn't fully know them, and so I was still getting comfortable with them and like just like the different jokes that they had and whatever. But they were very welcoming and it was a lot of fun. And that was the start of me not being afraid to go knock on other people's doors. So that is probably one of the biggest pieces of advice that I have that was a huge help to me in finding community, is knock on doors. Like literally just knock on people's doors. And me and not being afraid to cross the bathroom and to go talk to the other girls over there and being nervous that I'm going to bother them or like they don't want to hang out with me. Like literally me just going and talking to them and hanging out with them gave me some of like my closest friendships ever. And so just by doing that and just by going and making the choice to go see what they were doing, like I heard them laughing and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and see what they're doing and hang out with them. That was huge. So knock on people's doors and be intentional in going to hang out with them. So that changed the whole dynamic of my semester. I prioritized community and I didn't throw away everything else. Like I still worked diligently in my schoolwork and that was important. But I focused a lot on community and forming friendships that I knew were going to last and friendships that would disciple and edify me. And like, that was a huge reason why I even came to Cedarville in the first place. Or to college in general, was to form those solid friendships and just to network, I guess. So through that came new opportunities, and it was so cool how the Lord brought me that group of girls, and then just meeting so many other people just through that one night. So second semester was really good. There was so much that I learned. So much that I learned about myself, so much that I learned just in how to steward my time and how to be intentional and how to truly depend on the Lord and to be obedient to him. He brought me a lot of peace and comfort, and just, I was kind of constantly stressed and disappointed most of my first semester, but learning to depend on the Lord brought me so much peace and just a lot of joy and like, oh, thank you, Lord. And just all of that, like, anything that came out of last semester, just like the friendships and the opportunities and the things I'm looking forward to next year, were all the Lord. Like none of that were me. That was me just trying to live in a posture of like, Lord, I want to do your will. I want to obey you. Just lead me, like guide my steps. And so that would just me being opened a lot of doors for a lot of different opportunities. And so next year going in, I will be a tour guide for Cedarville. I'm really, really, really excited to kind of share this with incoming students or prospective students. I'll also be working as a barista at the coffee shop. And then I like joined a choir and I write for the student blog and just a couple other little things that I'm so excited and so thankful that I get to be involved in these different ways in supporting the school and continuing to meet new people and form intentional community, which is something that Cedarville really, really prioritizes. So, also, something that did really help, which I did not expect, but do intramurals, because intramural sports are a really, really fun way to get to know people. I made a sand volleyball team like halfway through second semester, and we were horrible, but it was so much fun, and I formed some really close friendships through that I would not have met them if I wasn't like, we need people to play on this team. So it was a couple guys and a couple girls, and it was so much fun. And so we were terrible, but it was a lot of fun. So it does not matter what level you are at sports. If you lose every game, that's a great way to meet people and just something to look forward to every week. So, okay, I don't want to make it sound like everything's perfect now and everything's great. Like, it's not easy. And there's still so much that the Lord is teaching me and so much that I have to learn. But all in all, my main thing that I've learned my first year of college is to depend on the Lord, and that He is the one who will bring about growth. He's the one who brings me joy and fulfillment. He is the one who opens the doors for opportunities. And this life is not about me, not about what I can do on my own strength, but it is all the glory to the Lord. And so I'm so thankful for everything that He's taught me and the ways that He's grown me through this past year, and just the things that He's shown me, and just His goodness and His faithfulness. So even if that was not your experience, your first year of college, I think we can all learn that, because that's like a step into adulthood, and I call it like I'm like half of an adult, because I'm not a full adult, but also not like a kid anymore. But that just teaches you, like, it gives you another step into spiritual maturity that's different than other seasons of life. All right, so I hope that was helpful in some way, and hopefully you can make some sense out of my rambling on. But I am very thankful. The Lord has taught me so much, and I am going back to Cedarville in the fall, and I'm very, very excited. I love you guys, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Bye!